your views on the idea of the metaverse. How much do you think that this idea of the metaverse that we have seen in movies and stuff, Ready Player One, is actually going to be manifested into a real product or a service and integrated as a whole different web in itself?
So there are multiple ways to tackle this particular answer to the question, like what is metaverse and why is it important. I will start off with a story. So the reason why Vitalik got into building Ethereum. So he used to be big I think World of Warcraft player. Yeah, and yeah, he was too good at it, and he had built a lot of reputation for himself, XP points, and a lot of items for himself. And but the server admin that he was playing at thought that, hey, I don't think that this guy is doing it fair and square. He's cheating. So they decided to delete and ban his account, and all the thousands upon thousands of hours of effort that he built in trying to earn those digital objects were just lost in one go. So because of that, he started to think this thing came that in my real world I owned XYZ, right? No one can come and take my belonging away, right? That's not possible for them to do so unless they steal it, right? No one can come and say that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to delete all the cars, Maruti Suzuki cars in the world, and you can't do anything about it, right? So why is it true about asset ownership on on the digital space, right? It should mean something. If it's a real world and the digital space is a part of the real world, the ownership aspect should be as well respected as it is respected in the real world also, right? So I think metaverse is just a digital universe where the rights, the ownership is much more well defined. You own something, you transact in something, you work for something, and the rights that you have are much more well defined. So that's one aspect to look at metaverse, redefining digital asset ownership. That's our a motto as well at AssetMantle, redefining digital asset ownership, change what it means to own something digitally, right? Rights associated with it. The other way to look at it is what I call the Web 2 to Web 3 jump, but at the UX level, right? So, yeah. So, Web 1, static website, right? Web 2 with little bit of interaction, but it's still rendered inside a two-dimensional, a square window, right? If I wanted to right-click and print a website, I can, right? It sounds dumb, but you can. Because it's a two-dimensional object that is getting rendered. So that's Web 2, right? But just going by the naming, adding one more dimension to it, that your website, when it renders, it does not render in a 2D page, it renders in a 3D space, right? So that's metaverse, right? A Web 3 in three-dimensional UX, right? So instead of visiting website in 2D paper, you visiting it in a 3D universe now, right? Right. So the other way to look at it, the other perspective to look at it is that we are increasingly spending time inside the digital world and less time in the real world. Today I was at the chai shop and I was having chai, and I was pointing out that earlier, there were people who were looking inside their phones, but now it's shocking that the person who is making the chai is making the chai looking at the phone. The person who is drinking the chai is looking at the phone. The person who is inside a cab is looking at the phone. Everyone outside is just wired in, and it's not even weird for me at this particular point of time, right? But the interface is not that cool. That interface to operate, it just as you say, evolving was to get a spine erect, and now we are de-evolving to get our spine bent forward again, right? So reverse evolution. So if you were to think about it, mobile phones are an extension of our vocal cord, right? If you think about it, the cars and motorcycles are extension of our limbs. like internet, the computer is an extension of our brain. But the interface to all of this is still not intuitive. That's not like like well combining. Like Metaverse is just an attempt to like make the interface like much more intuitive. Rather than you having to touch a two-dimensional space, you are literally in your own default this thing. Default mode of interaction
setting. Yeah, right.
So
you're in your default environment. Yeah.
So our generation was the one that started from no web to web 2, having to have learned all the new senses of how to utilize a web app and what does it mean to like utilize password and what UX means what, where is the profile settings and all that. We learned all of that, but it was like a learning process. And if a very old person or a very young person you showed it, they are not immediately intuitively able to adapt to it. But what if I built it in such a way that it was just intuitive, right? The way we interact with the real world and our brain is built to understand the real world. What if I make the interface like that there is no training time required at all? So that's Web3, that even if an alien came and tried to interact with it, they could, right? Extra contextual information required.
Especially with videos that go around. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of a guy wearing his VR headset and taking a bath in a bathtub while he's in the Metaverse. But yeah.
No, I just wanted to add on to the interface point that you said. I feel that every generation, we had a lesser friction with how we interact with the digital devices. So before it was maybe you had to press buttons in order to interact with your devices. After that, it became touch phones. Now there are even brain sensors that you can use to just think about something, and the drones will fly and all of those things. So I feel it will just get better, and then we will have those haptic feedbacks and all of those things just to have a better sense or better this thing without any friction with the digital devices. So yeah.
Better cyborgs. We just becoming cyborgs. That's all.
That's the best way to beat robots. I had heard it somewhere. So
become them. Can't beat them. Become them.
Yeah.